All right, y'all, so welcome back to another one. So you can see here today, we just got wrapped up on the line. I'm here with Alan Probst with North American Trapper. Alan, obviously, many of you guys have seen his TV show on the Sportsman's Channel, but he's also got a YouTube channel going, so be sure and check that out. I'll leave that link down below. It's North American Trapper on YouTube. And then I guess all your other social media is North American Trapper. Search North American Trapper. So anyway, we just wanted to kind of sit down and just have a little BS session with you all. Talking canine sets. So this is really a cool opportunity for me, especially. You know, you guys have seen me do, do all my trapping stuff pretty much with just me over the years, but to be able to come out and trap with Alan and see the way he works and, the way he's kind of breaking apart his line, it's really, really interesting. And, one of the cool things, we've been talking about this now for a couple of days, is just the similarities. You don't have to complicate this. And, one of the big things, so we'll be honest with the folks, we got skunked today. We didn't catch any canines, right? So, but yesterday we caught 2 and we had a pretty good percentage on the sets, right? And, that's one thing that you have to understand is you're not going to catch stuff every single day. It just doesn't matter. The critters are not going to run, and however you want to edit it or tell your buddies, it's just not going to happen. The truth of the matter is, we got skunked today. So, that is one thing that, I think a lot of people, they get the illusion that, hey, I buy a trap, I put it in the ground, I'm going to catch something. And that's just not the case, right? Another thing that I think is really cool is, we've talked about this as well, but so your sets that we ran, Alan put out all the canine sets. I'm running a line with him. I'm doing a little coon trapping, but we're running Alan's canine line. Now, you guys have seen me. I've done videos on it over the years about my preferred sets, my favorite sets, and I was really interested to come out and see how you were going to do this. And I can tell you, you've pretty much, all the sets we checked are very similar. They're a variation of a dirt hole set, a step down set, and I'll throw some footage in here of Alan's sets, but you don't get too tied up with different sets. You've got your confidence sets, you know what works, and I mean, tell the folks, you've trapped all over the country, right?
You hit the nail on the head there with keeping it simple. As you said, we got skunked today. We got, this is our third day. Third day I've had them in the ground. I got about 20, 21 sets out. 4 cows. The
cows.
4 cows. Yeah. We won't even get into why I put them in there, but if you have cows around, I'm going to let you know right now, do not set in the fields where there's cows, because there's a good chance that you're going to have 4 misses the next day, and because the cows don't seem to get held. But I got two coyote the first night and 2 coyote the second night, and we got skunked today, other than a coon. As you said, keep it simple, and that's really the biggest thing. Anybody out there that's watching this, don't think that you got to do this, and there's so much information out there that's going to have you really in your own mind wondering what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Well, this guy says this and I respect him, and then this guy says this and I respect him, and what they're saying is the exact opposite of each other. Really what you got to do is find what works for you. I've been, canine trapping, I caught my first fox when I was 11 years old. Was I a canine trapper? Absolutely not. But over the last 15, 20 years, I have created a system that works for me. And as you said, it's a variation of a dirt hole. Basically, it's a step-down set. I like to create the momentum of the animal to work into the set. I don't make a lot of flat sets. I don't make a lot of sets that I don't feel that the animal has to actually 100% commit to get down in there. So my trap's going to be anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches below the surrounding ground that's around. I get the dirt hole. Sometimes that dirt hole is not a 45-degree angle. Sometimes it's almost like a 90 or 45-degree angle in from the bottom, where I make them actually have to get down in. I like to create the momentum of the animal to get in there. That's what I like to do. That works for me. And I'm using the Duke 550. I use that predominantly anywhere across the country. I'm from Pennsylvania, so we're not legal on the 650, the bigger size version of this Pro Series. I'm pretty much setting the 550 anywhere, whether I'm in Pennsylvania, here in Illinois, South Dakota, Mississippi, Kansas, it doesn't matter. I'm throwing the 550 in the ground, and I'm getting. Yesterday we had the last 2 days I had 4 catches, and they were all good deep pad catches because they had to commit to the set. And
I attribute that to the step down. So I made a set. I made a video last year, guys, and I called it my favorite set of all time, or the most productive set, or something along that line. I'll leave that link below too. But it was a variation of the step down dirt hole set, and it's. Do you see that? I mean, because you've had the opportunity to trap with a bunch of different people across the country. Nobody's putting a tire set out there and catching numbers. You can't just go out there and have all these really, really critical sets and expect to produce those over and over and over again.
Everybody's looking for that unique set that kind of sets them apart. And there's a lot of different people with a lot of different variations of what is the dirt hole. And the dirt hole as a whole has probably, in my mind, I would think it's the dirt hole or the variation of the dirt hole has caught 95% of the canines ever caught.
It's taking more critters.
And why change something that works? And keeping along the lines of what you said with the simple or the simplicity of it, if you bed your trap properly, first and foremost, I don't care what you put in the hole. I don't care what bait, what lure, what scent that you're using to attract that animal. First and foremost, to be a proficient predator trapper, and that's, when I say predator, I mean coyote, fox, bobcat, it doesn't matter. And even raccoon, possum, skunk in water situation, you got to have that trap bedded properly. That's got to be tight to where if they step on the jaw or step on the lever or whatever, that wobble is not there. We don't have the other side of the trap popping up when they step on this side, or vice versa. If you have that trap bedded properly and that animal's timid a little bit and there's no wiggle or wobble, he's down in there. He's hitting it with his back foot, his front foot. I didn't catch any of these that way, but I'll catch probably 20-30% of the canines that I catch by the back foot in a very tight set. I know a lot of people will tell you got to be 9 inches back and 3 inches to the right, or 3 inches. I'm tight. I guarantee you pretty much every set that I have in the ground right now, 20 sets or so, that pan of that 550 is no more than 6 inches from the hole. It's tight. It's down in there. It's almost like a little bowl. And he'll show you some of the cutaway footage of what they look like when they're made. But it's a tight set. I like that. That's what works for me. And as you saw when you were out here the last couple of days, I don't get a lot of misses.
The trick is keeping them at the set, right?
Keep them at the set.
And then another thing, I want to touch on a few different things, but first and foremost, you got to be on location. You have your properly bedded trap of however degree you want to do that, but you got to be on location. You got to be where these critters are. And the way it was kind of funny running around. You're like, oh, I had a set here. And in my mind, as we were checking sets that first day, I was like, boy, if I came in here, I'd put a set there. And sure enough, that side by side, it started to veer off and drive to. I was like, well, we're thinking alike,
Right to where the little maybe the V-neck of the vegetation comes out into the field. Yeah.
But it was just really cool to see, kind of like minds thinking alike. And I do want to stress too. So my favorite set is like a trench style or a step down style. Something where, like Alan said, you get that animal to full commitment. I like a little bit more of a flashy set, something to really draw the critters in. But another thing that I've noticed with your sets, I mean, you're really making that animal step down just like I am. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people would say that's too much guiding for coyotes. No. And I over the years, I mean, I've caught my fair number of canines, you've caught your fair number of canines. You don't need that completely blended in flat set like you hear. I mean, you can guide a canine a lot more
than people will think that you can. And really what it is guiding, as you said. Yeah. I'm guiding, but I'm not using sticks. I'm using
we're not making cubbies or anything.
I'm using the earth that's there to make it look like that's just a deeper hole.
Yeah.
That's a deeper bed.
Yeah.
And that's I guess that's what I can explain to you. It's a deeper bed. Instead of going down 3-4 inches, I'm going down 5, 6, sometimes 7, 8 inches for my bed. I'll put the wax dirt in, and that trap's bedded. That trap may be bedded 4 inches under the surface, and then I'll cover it with the top layer of dirt, and it's still 2 inches below that surrounding ground. Now, that is guiding, but you're guiding with what's there. You're guiding with the earth.
Yeah, and it's, another thing I will say too. So Alan's remade, I don't know, half a dozen sets now. We've had some that snapped off and some that's
we
caught.
Had that deer definitely in the one.
We had some that's caught.
Yep.
You have yet to snap a trap on the bed, and that's because you're running proper pan tension. I mean, we haven't even talked about pan tension, but you don't run your stuff on a hair trigger.
No.
And I see that a lot. Everybody wants to run their stuff on a hair trigger. And I've said in my videos, if you are scared to bed your trap in the ground, you're running too light a pan tension. And, a lot of this compounds. So the fact that you're running these kind of step down sets, the fact that you're making this animal fully commit, and the fact that you're running enough pan tension to get that animal's foot down in that trap, allow these jaws to close.
Well, that goes a lot. It all works together.
It all works together.
Because I'm creating the momentum of that animal. And it doesn't matter if it's a fox, a smaller critter, coon. Coon's going to set it off too. He's going to be down in there. A possum. I get possums and skunks if they come by before the predators do. The pan tension's running probably, I don't sit there and test each one. They're in that 3.
That's 2 to 3 pounds.
3 range, 2.5 to 3.
We're running these Duke traps. Alan's running the 550s. I prefer the 650s. I've been running them now for a couple of years, and they have,
which is a great trap.
They're great, and I can use them here legally.
I can't legally use them in PA.
But these Pro Series, we're running the Pro Series, and they come with this awesome this trigger system on it.
The night latch.
The night latch is just awesome. So that's really convenient if you're a guy that doesn't like to tweak your traps or mess with them. But
what's really nice is and these are almost out of the box like this.
Yeah, pretty much.
The 650 and the 550. Yeah. When you set the trap and you want to make sure it's set, that click.
Yep.
And I might have talked over it, but let's listen right here. You'll hear this click. That click right there. Now that pan is now level, and that's ready to go on the ground. You were talking about bedding. These big cast jaws give you that opportunity to get down in there and really put a lot of pressure on and pack in around the outside on the levers and the jaws. And that, to me, is as I said, that's the most important thing when it comes to catching canines, is the bedding of the trap.
And especially now, so like we're in a real bad freeze thaw situation here, and we're not using any natural dirt. Everything you've been bedding in wax dirt.
Wax dirt and wax sand. I like wax sand better. I just feel my trap bed's better in wax sand. Next thing under that's going to be wax dirt in these situations. I will use it if it's the only thing I have, but I'm not a big peat moss guy. Buckwheat hulls, no way. I just don't feel you can bed a trap consistently in hulls or peat moss.
And you're never going to get that bed that you can produce with the natural soil. I mean, wax dirt, we use it because we have to, right? And you're never going to get that great solid bed. But like Alan said, with these bigger, heavier traps, I've always said the best bedding trap that I ever used was a Duke No. 3 round jaw. It just, for some odd reason, it just bedded great. And these things here they're a step above that No. 3. These Pro, they're great, and they bed just like that No. 3. So,
believe it or not, that No. 3 round jaw is a great beaver trap that doesn't get enough credit for a great front foot beaver trap.
I agree. But I mean, I used those No. 3s for years, so
they're a cool trap.
But no, I mean, like I said, you get on location, proper bedding. You have a set that you've got confidence in, and I'm not trying to knock tire set or compass set or all these other variations. If you want to take a truckload of tires, go out there and string them out. If you've got confidence in it, that's fine. But it's really cool to see Alan come in and see his variation. And like I said, you had what, 20 some odd sets in the ground.
Sets, yep. 17.
And they were pretty much all the exact same because those were your confidence sets.
That's my set.
And it produced, y'all. So I mean, that right there speaks for it. To have that catch where we're at in this part of the country off that number of sets, it speaks for itself basically. So
and we'll catch more too. It's I'm here for about 6-7 days, and we're going to deal with some weather issues coming in. We got snow and then rain right after, which is going to turn into a quagmire. But I have that waxed dirt and that waxed sand in there, which I know those sets are going to work as long as I can get through that snow and that initial little melt to where they still work. I can remake them and whatever, and they're going to work through the rain, and I'm going to still have confidence in them. Now, the only thing I will say, we don't want to make it sound like this is all easy and fine and dandy. The one thing I will say, in weather conditions where you're going to have a lot of moisture and a lot of rain, when you put a set in like I'm putting in with that kind of depression down in the ground, they will fill up with water a lot of times. You really got to pick your location, not at the bottom of a hill where the runoff is. You want to be on top of the hill. You got to, kind of pay attention to your weather conditions, because they are ones that you will have fill up with water at times.
But it's still a confidence thing. And like I said, there are variations. You guys saw me make the grass sets or the hay sets. Some people call them hay sets. I call them grass sets. That's a great option for around. And it is basically a variation. You're still, yeah, so. Anyway, y'all, we're going to keep this kind of short and sweet. Didn't want to go on for too long, but I thought it'd be really interesting to bring Alan along. I appreciate him sitting down and talking with.
Appreciate you coming out. This has been a great time a couple days.
And to be able to sit here and talk coyote trapping with you guys. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them down below. Be sure to go check out Alan at North American Trapper. It'll be linked down below. Check out all his other social media too. I'll put it in the link. But no, anyway, I appreciate it, Alan.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you talking trapping with me. Anyway, y'all, appreciate the view, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Awesome.
That was good.
I think that went good.